Hello and welcome back to Odds Checkers NFL Prop Show. What's going on? I am Matt O'Leary alongside Geoff Fienberg and now Derek Carty as well. Guys, what's going on?
Happy to be here. Week 5. We want to trust what we've seen from these teams and these players, but, we have to look at strength of schedule as well, and maybe we've been tricked, but got to keep on keeping on here, boys.
Absolutely. Derek, how's it going, my friend?
Yeah, it's going great. I'm really happy to be joining you guys. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So, let's do it.
All right. So just to catch you up, last week, Geoff, good week, 3-1 brings you to 9-7 up on your pick so far. I struggled, 1-3, bringing me to 6-10. So let's get it rolling for this week here in week 5 of the NFL season. We will start with a passing prop, and let's start with the newcomer, Derek. What do you got this week?
Yeah, so I'm taking Trevor Lawrence's interceptions prop. Under 0.5 interceptions, plus 165 is the best line I've been able to find for it. Lawrence is second in the league in interceptions right now with 7. But interceptions are super noisy, and I feel like this is a market that is overly reactionary to what guys have actually done. Like you can see it with Davis Mills and with some other guys who have a lot of interceptions so far. The props just look really inefficient as far as that goes. Like, interceptions are kind of noisy, but this is going to be a run-heavy team. They're facing a slow-paced Tennessee offense this week. I don't see a lot of volume for Lawrence in general, a lot of opportunities for him to throw an interception. I think he's more likely to throw one than not. I have him projected right around 1 interception, but the odds are just so favorable here. The implied projection based on 165 is that Lawrence is going to throw nearly 2 interceptions in this game, and that's just, I don't think, a reasonable expectation. So I'll take him for the odds.
All right, there we go. Let's head on over to Geoff. What do you like this week?
Well, I see things a little differently, but maybe exactly the same as Derek, and I'm just going to piggyback off of our last week. My passing prop was Zach Wilson. You need confidence. The Tennessee Titans secondary are going to give it to you. And it's not too much higher this week for Trevor Lawrence. I'm taking over that 249.5. There is so much noise in Jacksonville this week. It feels like the Titans will be the most popular betting side of the week because no one wants any part of what's happening in Jacksonville. And I'm not here to say the Jags are going to win, but Trevor Lawrence is going to get some confidence to piggyback off the confidence that he got in last week's game. And I'm not done with Lawrence, so he might show up in 3 props this week. But for me, it's Lawrence over 249.5.
All right, I like that one too. I'm going to piggyback off of what Geoff did last week. I'm taking my guy Zach Wilson over 249.5 passing yards this week against the Atlanta defense. They have really struggled mightily, especially against the pass, and I think Wilson, coming off a big second half performance against the Tennessee Titans, is going to carry over, and he'll put on a show in London for pretty much everyone to watch there. So I like my guy Zach Wilson this week on the over at 249.5. That's at minus 115. To the rushing we will go. Derek, what do you got this week in a rushing prop?
Yeah, so you're taking Zach Wilson's over, and I'm taking Michael Carter's over here. I like his carry prop, 11.5, negative 125. My projection system has him projected close to 14.5, so this is a good amount of value here. This is projected to be the 3rd fastest paced game on the slate. Atlanta is a pace up spot. The Jets play at a fast pace this year to begin with. It's a fairly run heavy offense, and more than anything else, Carter seems to be taking over this backfield. 2 weeks ago, he got 75% of the carries. Last week, Tevin Coleman was back, and he still got 60%. So I just think 11.5 is very low. And I like Carter's over here.
Absolutely.
I like that. I regret sleeping on Carter in some drafts, just getting greedy, thinking I'd get him and losing him. Feels like he's about to have a big one. I'm piggybacking off my first prop, guys. I don't know. Maybe there's no structure in Jacksonville, and that's going to lead to me hitting my Lawrence over. And I think Lawrence is going to be on the move with his feet. I took some L's on Lawrence rushing yard props early in the season, but those have started to come around, and I'm playing Lawrence to the over at 19.5 rushing yards this week. I just think, I don't know. I think it's just going to be a very high output game from Lawrence in the Jaguars against the Titans D, even in a loss. I think he'll be able to get what's his, and he'll be more aggressive with his feet. I like Lawrence to run. I like Lawrence to pass. Obviously, I'm quite bullish on Lawrence.
All right, some more Lawrence love there. I'm going to go with an under this week on my rushing prop, and I'm taking Aaron Jones under 65.5 rushing yards. Can we just talk about him not producing? Like, I feel like that's been a thing this year. He's definitely struggled, and this Bengals defense is actually pretty good. So I don't necessarily anticipate a ton of action for him, especially with, A.J. Dillon got some reps last week. So don't love what he's been doing here, especially because I have him in fantasy. I don't know if this is maybe playing a little bit of a role here in this pick, but I like Aaron Jones to hit the under here. I think they rely more on Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball this week against the Bengals. Let's go to a receiving prop now. Derek, what do we got here?
Yeah, I'm going with Chris Godwin here. Prop is set at 63.5 receiving yards, negative 115. And that seems way too low to me. I have him projected at about 81 yards. This is the second most pass-heavy offense in football. After the Buffalo Bills, no team projects to be more pass-heavy in a neutral context than the Buccaneers do. Maybe Tom Brady is shooting for some records this year. They love to pass. The pace of this game is also so good. They're the second fastest paced team in football in a neutral context. The Dolphins are the fourth fastest. This is easily the fastest paced game on the slate. We should see a lot of plays being run and a lot of opportunities for Godwin to rack up some yards. Maybe it just becomes a game where it's Mike Evans getting more of the work or Antonio Brown getting more of the work. But Gronk should be out again. I think on average, Godwin should pretty easily get over this prop.
Geoff?
I'm going to the Carolina Panthers. I trust them to get off the mat, but to keep feeding DJ Moore. Books opened with a 5.5 on Moore at a pick'em. 35 targets, 24 receptions in the last 3 weeks. Matt Rule will continue to find ways to make sure Moore is involved. I am even happy to play it at the 6.5 plus 130s that I think I've seen a lot of books settle on right now. So all DJ Moore all in. I'll keep going there for me.
All right. I'm going with Jeff's team this week. I'm taking Keenan Allen over 6.5 receptions at minus 120. I think he has another big day. He's been getting a ton of targets, and I know that last week wasn't necessarily the most productive week from him in terms of receiving yards and stuff like that, but I think he's going to look to get in the high single digits in receptions here. So I know at minus 120, that's not phenomenal right there, but I think this one, when you look at it, he should be getting a significant amount of targets, and more often than not, he turns those targets into receptions. So give me Keenan Allen this week.
Yeah, I'll just say, boy wonder Staley is going to make sure, like the Redskin game in week 1, Herbert's going to get the ball quick. Allen will be doing a lot of those pass for run plays that will easily, I think, help you get to your number.
Absolutely. So how about a bonus? Derek, what do you got for us in your first week?
Yeah, it's going to be a gross one. It's Davis Mills. A lot of people aren't going to really want to bet on Davis Mills, but I really like the completions prop here. Honestly, I like most of his props, but completions looks the best, over 17.5. Obviously, he's not a great quarterback. Obviously, it's a team that wants to run the ball, but I think this game situation is a good one for him. They're 8.5-point underdogs, so it's a game script where they should be throwing the ball a lot in the second half. It's a dome environment, which is a big deal. It's something that not a lot of people talk about, I feel like, but weather makes a big impact on quarterbacks, and when there's no wind in a dome, quarterbacks are more efficient. They complete more passes. They move the ball down the field easier. He's struggled in his 3 games so far, but 2 of them have been on the road against good defenses. His 1 game that was in a dome in Houston, 19 completions. Would have hit the over here. So my projection system says 22. It's a really good bet. I like this quite a bit.
All right. Love that. Outside the box thinking there. Geoff, what do you got for your bonus?
For me, I'm going to England, and I am going to take advantage of Kyle Pitts with the Jets down. I think multiple guys. I believe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but two safeties. Kyle Pitts been one of the bigger disappointments on the NFL slate this year. I guess that has to do with his yellow jacket pre-draft projections, but this should be a game where he could get heavily involved. The 3.5 laying the juice is the bet that I have made at minus 120. but I'll take the 4.5, much like that Moore comment that they've moved to 4.5. It comes with a plus 130 tag. I'd have no problem making a move on that either. Kyle Pitt's going to show off this week.
All right, I like that. And yes, the Jets safety situation, not great. So we're going to have to agree with you there. I like that pick a lot. For my bonus, I'm going with Ezekiel Elliott over 73.5 rushing yards at minus 115. He's come on really strong the last couple of weeks. And against this Giants team, they're pretty heavily favored at 7.5 points here. So I think they're going to get into a situation where they're leading big late in the game and just trying to ice it. And with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard 1-2 punch, I think Elliott has a pretty easy job clearing that 73.5 mark, which he did last week. So, all right, that's going to do it here for us in week 5. Make sure to tune in again next week to see how we do. And we'll obviously preview the upcoming week and with our prop selection. But thank you guys so much for joining me. For Derek Carty and Geoff Fienberg, I'm Matt O'Leary. We'll talk to you next time.